Welcome to the DeFi Scoop, your source for everything DeFi and beyond. I'm your host, Dave Liebowitz, and this is what we have in store for this week. As the first episode ever, very exciting, we have Samyak from Instadapp on, and we get to everything from how he started Instadapp to where he thinks the whole India crypto startup scene is heading, to what it's like working with his brother, to alpha leaks. We got some alpha leaks in store, so stick around. We have a lot to unpack here, and let's get the show started. Hey everyone, welcome to the DeFi Scoop. I'm your host Dave Liebowitz, and we have our first guest ever, Samyak Jain. Did I say that right?
Yeah, it's almost right.
Oh, almost right. Okay. Wait, how do I say it?
It's Samyak Jain.
Samyak Jain.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How are you doing?
I'm great. Yeah, just busy with the tokenomics right now.
Cool. So you just released your token, the Instadapp token. So can you give us some more details about that?
Yeah, so INST token is the governance token for the new Instadapp protocol. That is basically, we are also referring it as a DeFi smart layer because it will be a layer over all on top of all the protocols, and it's going to be like very compatible, very flexible, and it will have all the security and all the different kinds of measure that protocols can't provide. Just like automations with Gelato, for instance, or on the security sides like Guardian or Manager, or limit orders, or yeah, a lot of things.
Cool. So when you first started Instadapp, that's something that you decided to develop later on, and you were just like, hey, this is something
There
necessary.
was no there was no plans. Tokens came into place of with the this new version of Instadapp, because before this we didn't had really had the need of token, um, but now to secure this whole platform, and the tokens kind of has overall power over the protocol of the upgradability, adding new account extension, expanding smart accounts. So basically, in that we can't really have a power to a multi-sign. So that was one of the reason to launch a token.
Yeah, so basically, as kind of the protocol evolved, you realized like, hey, we need to make these changes, like we want to make it upgradable and all this stuff, and you decided to create the token.
Yeah, exactly. Before this, it was totally independent, and it wasn't dependent on any token, but it also limited us with a lot of development, and with a lot of things which we were not able to push out.
Cool. So how did you start Instadapp? I read that you and your brother were at a hackathon in India, and then you put it together. Was that kind of how it originally started?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. We just went for a normal hackathon. There was no plans. Our team name there was Instadapp, and at that time the only
It's a great name,
the
by the way.
yeah, it was just the team name. We thought like, oh,
Yeah.
what can we make for a hackathon? And it's like, oh, we need to build a DApp, and we need to build it instantly. So we just gave the names. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty fitting for the hackathon, but then we got connected with the name. So yeah, we at that time the only protocol there was MakerDAO, on which you can build anything. So we started, we simplified the MakerDAO protocol again with the middle smart contract, and that's how the Instadapp took place. Like there is a lot of complexity on the protocol side. So you need, like, there is a huge need on the middleware at many places, like not only on a particular protocol, but to also communicate with many different protocols at a single time. Because MakerDAO won't support Compound, Compound won't support Aave, but here you can just get same interface, same interactions and everything, to interact with any protocol.
Yeah, and that's exactly where Gelato came in. Like, I remember when I first joined Gelato, that's when we came out with the Gelato Instadapp debt bridge, and that was, fits into all these different protocols and with all the refinancing and stuff. Can you talk
Yeah,
about how
yeah.
that kind of came about? Like, how did you start? How did you first get in contact with the Gelato team and Hilmar and Lewis?
One of our advisor, they connected us with Gelato.
Hmm.
Yeah, at the time, like we were just figuring out like what can we build on the automation side. We had couple of plans, like plans on the things that could be built. Then we started with the refinancing thing on ETH Vault. So yeah, I mean, it was like it took like 2 to 3 months to build up the whole thing, but it was like the first time trial from both the teams. So we were just moving slow and yeah, like did everything is in place. But yeah, I mean, that's how we started. We released the automation with the Gelato. Then we got busy in some other things. But then with the Polygon migration, we used Gelato for to automate ourselves on Polygon. And like it helped us facilitate the Polygon migration. And now with the INST token launch, we use Gelato. So yeah, I mean, we've used like yeah, that's how we got into place, and that's how we've been working since last couple of months.
Cool, yeah. With their Instadapp token launch, it's pretty cool how you guys are using our G Uni pools, and that got like a good amount of coverage and stuff. And I think you're the first ones to actually like have that integrated, so that's honestly pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also interested when the main version will be out. Huge value to the overall ecosystem because I mean it will be obvious to just deposit in these pools rather than going to Uniswap and creating your own NFT.
Yeah, and how do you see Gelato and Instadapp collaborating in the future?
I mean, I see in many ways because I mean now with the DeFi smart layer we are going to add a totally different module which will be an automation module. Keeper or automator, what do I say? Will be Gelato.
Yeah,
Yeah, who will be automating most of the things. It could be refinancing or saving users vault or maximizing their benefits or any kind of things like. So yeah, there is a lot of places in DeFi, in protocols, and everywhere where there is a huge need of automation. Like we used it in the Polygon migration. We used it in the refinancing. We have plans to use it on automate like paying back users' debt in case of liquidation or anything. So yeah, I mean, I think it in next couple of months we could see very cool things with Gelato.
yeah, for sure. It's very exciting. And, as fast as DeFi moves, like, these things could come sooner than people think. So other than Gelato, what are some of your favorite projects
I mean, DeFi projects are protocols. So, I mean,
or
I'm
protocols?
interested in all the protocols. Like, so Maker Compound Aave is like that they've been in the industry for way too long. So I mean, I think that everyone likes them. But I mean, on the recent protocol, if I talk about, I'm really interested in Uniswap and Balancer. So Uniswap V3, it kind of just flipped the AMM market with the low liquidity and high swaps. So like
And
with the
capital
concentrated,
efficiency?
yeah, huge capital efficiency. So I mean, yeah, I mean everyone knows about the Uniswap V3, so that's what got me more interested, and that's what also made us do uh, on Uniswap V3. It was an experiment. It was a good experiment. Yeah, and the other I'm really interested is Balancer with their new version too. And they have a huge value addition, like with the asset manager side. It's not the asset manager is not yet released, but once they are released, the DAO can decide how to utilize the funds, and it can potentially. increase users' revenue by multiple times. And maybe like it could be possible like the asset managers are earning more than the actual swaps. So, I mean, I'm just really interested on the asset manager side to allocate the capacity, and they also have many different pool variations. It's like the whole infrastructure is very technical, but I think like they are going like it has a good future.
Yeah, for sure. Bouncer's really interesting because I think it's older than Uniswap, but they've always kind of been in their own lane. You know,
I think Balancer is considerably way much more newer. Like you're talking about the version 2
I'm just talking
or the
about Balancer in general, but probably
oh
the,
yeah,
yeah,
Uniswap has been in the industry from I think
2017, that's 2018,
yeah
yeah.
2017, and Balancer came in 2020 I guess.
Yeah, no, I think I was listening to a Clubhouse months ago and how the founder of Balance, I think his name is Fernando. He was talking about
Yeah,
yeah, he was talking about how Balancer has been in the works for a while as well. It seems like there were a bunch of AMMs that were in the works early on, and Uniswap became the primary leading, kind of like the Google
yeah,
of
yeah,
AMMs, and Balancer came out there too, but with their own version. I think Uniswap V3 is really cool, especially with kind of how they built it. Is they built it very simple in a sense that they just want third parties to build on top of it, and that's what we're doing at Gelato. And I love how modular they made it. Like they allowed for a lot of different variations with, how to
yeah,
reinvest the
yeah.
fees and how to, auto rebalancing.
Yeah, it has
It's really
yeah, yeah,
crazy when you get into it.
yeah. It is.
Yeah. Kind of back to the early history of Instadapp. How'd you get in contact with Naval and Balaji, and kind of what were those early conversations like?
I mean, so we were in contact with Coinbase Venture, who got us connected with Balaji, got us connected with Naval.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, that's how we got connected with all of them. And I mean, yeah, I mean, it was really good. Like, we had the conversation with Naval with that 40 minutes talk. He was able to grab everything pretty quickly. So we were also like kind of surprised because generally people in the DeFi itself don't get it in 40-45 minutes. Like, what is the power? What are the strengths of the middleware and all those things? But yeah, I mean, so like it was a small chat and that was it. But yeah, I mean,
So he was down to invest after that small chat, and he got kind of what Instadapp was about right away.
yeah.
Okay, that's
Um,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I live in LA, and I saw Naval out one time here when I was at getting drinks with a friend. I forget the name of I think was it called Employees Only, but it was really funny. He walks by, and my friend's like, "Oh," like just starts talking to him. And at first, I didn't realize it was him, and we were just talking about crypto, and he was. It was funny. He started talking about mining and kind of like the effects on climate change, and he believes the whole argument is bogus. And he was like, "I'm gonna write a Twitter thread on it," and so I'm still waiting for I'm still waiting for that Twitter thread. So Naval, if you're watching this, I remember. So yeah, come out with that Twitter thread whenever you want. Yeah. So, anyways, what's it like working with your brother?
I mean, lots of fight.
Lots of fun. Like I thought you were gonna say either like lots of fun or lots of fight. It was like either or.
Yeah, it's also very beneficial because we just say uh bluntly on each other's face. So the communication between co-founders are pure. I
Pure,
mean, anything
unabated.
that we think is, yeah, I mean, we don't care about how the other person will feel. We just think like this is the right thing on Instadapp and we just say that. So I think considerably it's really good because we fight, but in the end it just results in a better decision. So yeah, and I think like we fit very well on the particular sites we work on. So he's really good at organizing things, and I'm really good at creating the strategies and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think more around the strategies on the Instadapp and more things that could be built on top of it. And he thinks how and how to keep team in place. So both goes really well, I think.
Yeah, you guys supplement each other really well.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
growing up, like before Instadapp, were you like kind of
I
strategy?
mean, no, I mean there wasn't any need to
Anything need yet?
strategize. It
Yeah.
just, yeah, I mean we just got into it and
You guys just
yeah,
fought when you grew growing up. There was no there was no strategizing.
there was no strategizing.
Yeah, so how big is the Instadapp team now?
It's around 10 to 15, also some freelancers who work time to time.
Cool.
Mm,
And how, so that's been 15 members in the past 2 years. It's crazy how all these DeFi teams are so small, but they create so much value for the employees they have. I think I read also with like I think it was Uniswap, like every line of code is worth $18 million or something like that, and their team is probably like 10 to 20 people. So it's pretty crazy like how much value is being created with these small teams. Like you guys I believe are like number 5 on DeFi Pulse for total
yeah,
value locked.
yeah, I think so, yeah, right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like it's more about the tech and the code and the strategy, what the industry needs. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's just really the people who are really good at coding. You just don't need lots of people to work together. You just need a small team focused on work, creating the protocol.
Yeah, I feel that. What are some things that are in the immediate roadmap of Instadapp? So you have the token out. Like, what's next for you guys?
Um, Lots of development. So I mean, one thing would be around automation. Um, I mean, I'm going with the call with Gelato tomorrow. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's true.
yeah, and we are planning things. Which is own flash loan.
Oh, cool.
Where so basically Instadapp is like the 50% of the flash loan volumes is currently being used. Instadapp is the biggest user of flash loan in DeFi right now. And so currently we use DYDX flash loan to facilitate everything, but it has a shortage of tokens, and to get other tokens we have to follow a little different path, and which makes it a little gas inefficient and adds a lot more logics to it. And the TVL is also going down on DYDX, so we are not sure the mainnet DYDX will stay there after a year or something. So
Hmm.
we needed a particular flash run shows for Instadapp, and also, I mean, also a good flash run for the whole community. So we thought of creating our own flash run, which we are going to release the details next week. But on a very basic level, it will be anyone can borrow flash loan from any DeFi smart account from any position, either it's Maker, Compound, Aave, or any other protocol that we integrate in future. So any protocol that is connected with DeFi smart layer can become a flash loan provider.
Cool.
And the smart account users will earn fees on their assets sitting in Compound, Maker, or anywhere they're sitting. Like if someone uses the flash loan from their assets, then they will get a fees out of it. So that's one thing that I'll be like we will be launching the details soon, and yeah, and development shortly after. Thing is around automated DeFi limit orders, which is a little different, and we'll probably release the details on it soon too next week. But we have a couple more things, and some more things will be around security, like guardians and managers for the smart accounts. So like a lot of whale users are managing their assets right now on DSA. So how to make them more secure.
Cool, cool. Alpha Leak, you
And
heard it here
yeah,
first.
and obviously like adding more protocols and more tooling around it, which is ongoing.
Cool, cool. the development, it never ends. There's
Yeah,
always
for
something.
sure. Yeah, always something to do.
Always something. So another thing I wanted to ask is, what's India's crypto and startup scene like, and what potential do you see in it? Like you have Polygon, which is absolutely blown up. They had like a recent investment with Mark Cuban, and I think Coin was it Paradigm or Coinbase, but definitely Mark Cuban. And I feel like
I think it
the
was Defiance.
Defiance, yeah, or Defiance too. I have to look that up. But yeah, it seems
Okay.
like the whole India startup and crypto scene is blowing up. Like, what's kind of like your reaction to it? How do you feel about the government being bipolar? It seems like one day they want to ban it, and then the next day they want to embrace it. Like, how do you feel about the whole scene and where it's
I
going?
mean, like the developer community, they were busy on building, but like the government was deciding with either they want to ban it or regulate it. It's still not very sure, but it's legal here to buy and I mean to trade cryptocurrencies right now. India has a huge potential. There are a huge amount of developers and yeah, I mean, we've already seen a couple of startups, blockchain startups, crypto startups that have been born out of India and is at a really good position right now. So I think like it's only going to grow. The good thing about crypto is it's not limited to Silicon Valley or
Yeah,
SF. It's totally distributed, and as far as I think, it's much more outside than in Silicon Valley. So I mean, it's widely distributed, and I think like it's also been growing very crazily in India too. So we might see, if not a lot of projects, then a lot of developers working for the already existing projects. But yeah, it's going
yeah.
to see a huge rise.
I feel like 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, it would be standard for developers in India to move to Silicon Valley for a job. But now I feel like a lot more are just staying in India. It's distributed the whole industry. Like I'm sure you're not considering moving to Silicon Valley, right?
No, I'm not.
No, no.
I mean, I'm not also thinking to stay in India, but
Oh,
not
okay.
also in Silicon Valley. But
Where are you
yeah,
thinking of
I
going?
mean, the not sure,
Not
just
sure.
probably traveling, just probably traveling. I'm still in my early 20s.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
feel that. No, I just got done with like a big traveling thing over the past 11 months. I highly recommend it. Um, yeah. Where were you thinking of going on your travels?
I don't know, maybe Southeast Asia or
So-
somewhere.
Somewhere close to home.
Maybe, not sure. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I just Indian developers like a very huge benefit is also like the whole thing is so distributed and open source, and there is no need to be staying at one place for an office or something. It's all remote. So, I mean, people will look more to hire someone from India than from developed countries because they will get much better resource at a much lower cost.
Yeah, for sure. What are some challenges you see ahead, not just for India's crypto scene, but for the crypto scene in general and DeFi in general?
I think like the regulations are still in place to come. It's probably going to be a big war before things get into place where it's going to be like focused on development more right now. Anyone can use any protocol easily, but it can also result in a lot of scams. I don't know if there will be any kind of KYC or anything, if there will be. But yeah, I mean, it's something that is going to evolve according to the regulations and how things will go if they need to allow it for like there is also a huge thing on the taxation side and a lot of things. So I think it's still in a very gray area, but yeah, I mean, we are also looking into it very keenly.
Yeah, I'm definitely hopeful. Like, I hope the playground stays open longer because I think the the way DeFi has kind of just freed finance and allowed anybody in the world to develop a protocol, interact with these protocols. I feel like if there were
No, so
regulation and
what I think is like protocol could be totally open source, but the UIs that are getting built on top of it and serving the local region will have to follow the regulations of that particular area of that particular country. But the
yeah,
protocols are global, so every like let's say I mean if we have built an infrastructure and anyone can build a UI on top of it or generate their own revenue. So and they have to follow the regulations at their place and pay the taxes and do all those things, and and they can just use the whole system. And the system could be decentralized, and it's totally open. So I'm not sure how all things will go, but yeah, it's going to be messy.
we'll see what happens. It could go so many different ways. Like the state of Wyoming just made DAOs, they just approved of them of being recognized legal entities. So we'll see if
Yeah,
that spreads, anywhere else in the U.S. or at a federal level. It's interesting because I feel like the U.S., when the internet first came out, they right away came up with regulations in like the mid 90s and kind of defined what was allowed and what wasn't allowed, and it kind of let all these companies flourish. But it seems like they're a lot slower with cryptocurrency for some reason, especially with U.S. regulation defining like what a token is. Like there's a lot of gray area, and only now is the U.S. government really going after the ICOs from 2017. So I think we
yeah.
have some time, but I'm hoping that SBF's Biden contribution leads, kind of pushes us in the right direction of kind of keep being open source, keep being just usable for everyone. Um, Anyways, do you have any final thoughts and any more scoops you could give us, and where people can find you?
Where people can.
Yeah, like on social media and stuff.
Oh yeah. So I mean, on social media, like they can just join Instadapp's community Discord channel, or we are also really active on Twitter. So I mean, can follow Instadapp or me, or yeah. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've covered almost most of the
Yeah,
things.
yeah, we pretty much
Um,
covered everything.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sweet.
yeah,
Yeah, Samyak, thank you so much for being our first guest of the DeFi Scoop, and thank you everyone for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us, and we'll have more of these things, so stick around. And thank you so much again, Samyak, for coming on.
yeah, no problem. All right. You have a good day.
You too.